Jamal Khashoggi was an author, columnist, and journalist of Saudi and Arabian descent, frequently contributing to the Washington Post. Khashoggi was infamous for his public criticism of the tyranny behind the administration of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. It was because of this said criticism, however, that he was ultimately brutally murdered at age 59 and his body dismembered, leaving nothing for the world or his family to remember him by. Beginning as a regional manager for a chain of bookstores in the early 1980s, Khashoggi's journalism career wouldn't really begin to take off until the late 1980s to early 90s. He'd serve as an entry-level correspondent for the Saudi Gazette and then move on to an assistant manager role for the Okas. At the conclusion of the 1990s, Khashoggi was appointed to the position of Deputy Editor-in-Chief of the Arab News, one of the most popular and relevant in Saudi Arabia. After being dismissed in May of 2003, Khashoggi's self-imposed exile from the nation of Saudi Arabia began. After another decade of bouncing from publication to publication, it was in June of 2017 that Khashoggi relocated to the United States and began writing for the Washington Post in September of that year. It was here that Khashoggi's life began on the path that would ultimately lead to his untimely and brutal murder. This was due to Khashoggi's rising popularity in Britain and the United States. With over 2 million Twitter followers, he had become by far the most popular pundit on matters within Saudi Arabia, as he would regularly appear on major television networks to discuss his liberal opinions and views, which posed a substantial political threat to the Crown Prince. All of these events led to the planned and premeditated murder of Khashoggi. On October 2, 2018, Jamal Khashoggi entered the Saudi Arabian consulate in order to obtain documents relating to his marriage, which was scheduled for the subsequent day. However, after his wife waited for him outside the gates of the consulate for hours, she did as he instructed her to do and called the Turkish police. The inspection of the Turkish police revealed that tampering had taken place and enough evidence was present to support the belief that Khashoggi was murdered by the Saudi government. The Saudi Arabian government denied these claims, saying that Khashoggi left the consulate alive despite there being no actual proof to support such a claim. But later, they announced that he had been killed inside the consulate due to a fistfight. Even this statement was contradicted later, as Saudi Arabia's own Attorney General stated that the murder was premeditated. The final nail in the proverbial coffin of the case was the United States Senate, in opposition to the White House's position, unanimously passing a resolution that held Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman personally responsible for the death of Jamal Khashoggi. Later that day, the Senate also passed legislation ending the United States military involvement in the Saudi Arabian-led war in Yemen. Ultimately, Jamal Khashoggi became what inspired his work most, a martyr. His story of liberalism and unwavering belief in his cause, despite ostracism by his home government, is what inspires so many around the world. Despite his death, Khashoggi has brought light to the inhumane injustices of the Saudi government and ignited the flames of justice that will continue to burn even in his death.